Hi guys, my name is Major Arlene and I'm an 8-year Doom veteran. Today I'm going to be going over some of the history of classic Doom mapping and modding. While this will be by no means a complete history, it'll hopefully give you a glimpse into how mapping was born, how it evolved, and how the collective efforts of the very dedicated classic Doom modding community has been credited for keeping the love for Doom alive. A quick disclaimer, there will be flashing lights and colors in some segments, so if you're photosensitive, please be aware. With that out of the way, let's get into it. We're going to start off at the very beginning, how id Software made Doom. The very first level editor to exist and used by id Software to develop Doom was DoomEd. Written in Objective-C and using the Next Step operating system, a discontinued object-oriented OS developed in the late 80s that would become part of Mac OS X, eventually even powering today's iPhones. DoomEd ran in tandem with Doom BSP Node Builder, as DoomEd could only save lines and things, while the Node Builder saved everything else. DoomEd used ASCII files to save level data. The text base is still used today, even in the most modern source ports, to rescue corrupted maps, although with a few differences. The primary difference between the levels it developed and the ones we have today come down to format. DoomEd used DWD format, which was ASCII, as opposed to WAD format, which is a binary format. Sectors, what we now consider the building blocks of maps, didn't actually exist in DWD format. They were just basically guessed at by the node builder if enough lines were attached to each other that had the same sector properties. WADs cross-reference lists of sectors and lines, which creates a more accurate account of the space built. This all eventually led to the creation of the very first custom Doom map made from scratch, a Ridge WAD, released on March 9, 1994. Made of 2 rooms connected by a door, it may not seem like much, but it was created without a level editing utility or a full node builder. Not long after, DEU 5.0, the very first community-made level editor, was released, bringing Doom level editing to the greater Doom community. From there, the community took hold and went wild, forming and reforming the standards for custom Doom content. Dehacked, developed by Greg Lewis, allows for vanilla Doom to be changed at the engine level by generating an exact copy of Doom or Doom 2 exe and applying patches to it. It works by replacing existing things in the executable. Projects such as HackX, Strain, and Batman Doom made extensive use of this. Later in 2020, arbitrary code execution hacks were discovered by KGSWS, allowing for modification to the engine through a custom configuration file to use things such as colored lights, insta-kill barrels, partially invisible monsters besides specters, and more. Levels don't just have to be generated on their own. Programs like Slige, then later Oblige, can generate random levels entirely on their own. While these types of levels aren't as widely accepted in the Doom mapping and modding community, they still have a place there, and games to this day still use procedurally generated levels and elements. All the cool level design tricks and hacks in the world were important, but they wouldn't exist without source ports, programs in which Doom and custom content can be run, each source port varying on how many features it has and limits of vanilla Doom behavior it breaks. DOS Doom was the very first source port of Doom, developed originally by Chi Huang, released in 1997. It was then renamed to Edge in 1999 to continue its development. It added features such as free look, translucency, and jumping, as well as the first human-readable scripting languages for modders, known as DDF scripting and Radius trigger script. Eventually, the source ports expanded into many different directions. Some were focused on multiplayer, such as Odemex, Xandronum, and ZDoom, and then single-player ports, which focused on adding lots of new features to the level designer's arsenal. Boom was a limit-removing port and mapping format developed by Team TNT in 1998 to remove bugs, crashes, and limitations of vanilla Doom and add extra features. This includes things like deep water effects, scrolling floors and ceilings, friction effects, silent teleporters, and most importantly, a set of generic line def types that allow for more line def actions and effects, thanks to a separate line def calculator. Really amazing things have come out of Boom mapping, really too many to list, but more recent projects have included finely crafted Fetish Film, a Puzzle WAD by Ribix, and Intergalactic Xenology 2 by Dreadop and Lord Z, which uses some really fascinating teleport trickery. MBF is a continuation of Boom to allow for even more mapping tricks, most notably friendly monsters, a line action to change the sky texture, and new dehacked flags of action functions with parameters to allow for further customization of assets. Two great works that make use of these features are Of Eternity and Valiant. From MBF came a source port that may sound silly on the surface, but in fact paved the way for some of the games we have today. Smack My Marine Up, or SMMU, was created by Simon Howard, aka Fraggle, in 1999. It introduced several new features, including FraggleScript, which is used in Doom Legacy, Remood, and GZDoom. This code base would then pave the way for the Eternity engine, which has done a great job of adding tons of new features while maintaining backward compatibility with the original engine. Eternity engine features include ACS scripting language, control options such as crosshair, free look, jumping, and flying, ending text screens, text-based level property definitions known as map info, render-only slopes, and portals. Heartland by Skillsaw makes a great use of the Eternity engine's many unique features. ZDoom got its start in 1998, with a team consisting of Marissa Height, Graf Zal, and BLZ3, and combined many different engine attributes of games like Heretic, Hexen, and Strife, with the robust FraggleScript and ACS scripting being enhanced for new features and more limitation breaks. This port now featured consoles, true 3D floors, slopes, colored lighting, dynamic lighting, flat and texture mixing, texture scaling, chase cam, decals, custom player skin compatibility, and new image formats being available for use, such as PNG files as opposed to having to be Doom format lump files. Notable examples of ZDoom mods range from total conversions like Action Doom, Adventures of Square, and Zanzan, which was one of the first to use 3D models, to regular mods such as Void, Mach 2, and the Alphon Zone. GZDoom, started in 2005 by Graf Zal, is the newest source port available for Doom, and one of the most extensive as far as features. Reflective floors, bright maps, glowing flats, custom hardware shaders, 6-sided skyboxes, and full MD2, MD3, and DMD model support. GZDoom also introduced ZScript, a new scripting language in which more customizable modding experiences can be achieved. Today's mappers need the best tools for the best level design. While level editors have evolved to keep up with the demands of mappers, the latest has been Ultimate Doom Builder. In recent months, the editor has added amazing quality of life tools such as slope handles, arch makers, model and texture exports for map geometry, and automated 3D floor creators. As a result of these tools, we now not only have some of the coolest modern maps to date, we also have entire games, such as Project Absentia, Celico, Age of Hell, Brutal Fate, Hedon, Relentless Frontier, Vomitorium, Supplies, and Stellar Valkyrie.
Boom, baby! Hey, back off! I know Kung Fu.
So that's it! I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you want to learn more about the history of mapping and modding, check out the links below. Also be sure to give our GZDoom devs and games a lot of love. You can find them down below as well. Thanks for joining me, and enjoy the rest of Realms Deep 2021.